everyone! My name is Allison, and today we are going to be talking about books that I need to read as soon as possible. These are all books that I already physically own, and that's why I need to read them as soon as possible, because I already own them, and really what's taken me so long. Anyway, we're gonna get right into it. Alright, so these first 4 books are the only books on this entire list that I have not read yet. These are books that I've just pulled off of my TBR shelf that are my highest priority, most want to read at this time. Yeah, we're just gonna get right into it. Alright, starting with the one that's on top, Babel by R.F. Kuang. I read Yellowface last month and I really enjoyed it, and I have had Babel sitting on my shelf since it came out, and I really don't know why I've been putting it off, but I need to read it as soon as possible. And I also have the audiobook, so I want to listen to the audiobook and read this at the same time, because I like doing that, and I feel like this is the kind of book where I'm gonna need to listen to the audiobook to stay focused. So yeah, first book, Babel by R.F. Kuang. It's been on my shelf for a long time. Moving on. Second book. Actually, let me just read it. Second book, Thistlefoot by, this is the author. I'm not even gonna try. My brain, Jenna Rose Nethercott? Jenna Rose Nethercott? Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. I'm bad at names. I'm bad at a lot of things, especially names. Anyway, do I remember what this is about? No, that's how long it's been on my TBR. And I was waiting for it to come out in paperback because, I don't know, it just seemed like a book that I was gonna want in paperback, if that makes any sense. I don't know why I'm like this. Anyway, but I was very disappointed when I picked it up that it has one of those covers that's shorter than the rest of the book. Why is that a decision? I hate that. I hate when that happens. It's because then these pages get all bent up, and look, I just bought this a couple days ago and they're already bent up. But anyway, Thistlefoot. I don't remember what this is about. Fantasy stuff, folklore stuff. I don't know, but yeah, Thistlefoot. Moving on. Dreams Lie Beneath by Rebecca Ross. This is the Owl Crate edition, I believe. I got it really cheap online. Yeah, it's pretty. Anyway, yeah, after reading Elements of whatever, A River Enchanted and a Fire Endless, whatever that duology is called, and then really enjoying Divine Rivals, I decided to pick up literally everything that she's ever written, so here we go. Dreams Lie Beneath by Rebecca Ross. I'm looking forward to it since I've literally loved everything I've read by her. Moving on. Silver Nitrate by Sylvia, I cannot talk today, Sylvia Moreno Garcia. This is another recent purchase for me, obviously, because it literally just came out. And yeah, I have really enjoyed everything I've read by this author. I would call her a favorite author of mine, since I think I've given all but 2 of the books that I've read by her 5 stars, so yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. I'm a little afraid that it's gonna be scary though. Oh well. And yeah, that's all the books on this list that I have not read yet. And let me tell you, there is a big pile of books in front of me, of books that I've already read that I need to reread, and we're going to get to them now. Okay, so I organized these books into 4 categories. 4 categories, and that is books that I need to read so I can continue the series, standalones that I really loved that I want to experience again, old books that I've read a long time ago and that I want to re-experience, which kind of is the same thing as the other stack, but we're not going to talk about that, so shush. And whole series that I want to reread, want to experience again. So yeah, we're gonna get into the first stack, which is the smallest out of all of them, because there's just 3 books on here. So we're gonna start with the one I read the longest time ago, The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden. I really need to reread this. I do have book 2 on my TBR shelf, but I do not remember anything that happened in this one, and I remember really loving it, but I don't remember anything. I think I read this in, I want to say 2018. Yeah, probably 2018, because it came out in 2017. So I think I read this in 2018, which was, some time ago. So yeah, I really need to reread this so I can continue in the series, because I did really love this when I read it. I don't even remember the main character's name. So yeah, I need to reread this so I can move on. Next book that I need to reread so I can continue in the series, Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. Yeah, I have book 2, Dragon Republic, on my TBR shelf, and it's been on my TBR shelf for a really long time. I remember a few things that happened in this, but the little gritty details I do not remember. I do remember really liking it when I read it at the time, so I am looking forward to continuing in the series, and I really need to read this again. Yeah. Alright, next book, I grabbed a box because the books are stuck in the box. I think the box shrunk a bit. But anyway, we'll just frame this. The Witchland series by Susan Dennard. I'm all caught up with it. I feel like I do need to reread them all before book 5 comes out. I believe book 5 is the final book in the series. So yeah, I really need to read them again. And I remember really, really loving Blood Witch when I read it. But then a couple months later I picked up Witch Shadow, and I felt like I had missed a book. I was missing a whole book, and I was just confused with the whole thing, so I feel like I just need to reread the whole series, and hopefully then I'll understand what the heck happened in Witch Shadow. Because I'm confused. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I was very confused. But yeah, and of course I do have the novella that goes I think you read it in between the first 2 books. I don't remember, but anyway, yeah, of course I have all the books, but yeah, I need to reread it before book 5 comes out. I don't know when it's coming out, but I need to reread the whole series. Yeah, and that's that. That's that for series that books I need to read so I can continue with the series. Now we're going to move on to the next category. Alright. A little less hefty of a stack here. So these are all just standalones that I really loved and I would like to reread at some point. Yeah, I don't know how interesting this video is. I'm sorry if it's not. You don't have to watch it, all of you. But I would appreciate it if you stuck around. But anyway, first book in the stack. These aren't in any particular order, by the way. Is If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. Yeah, I loved this. When did I read this? I want to say it was 2019. Alright, yeah, I think because I bought it at the same time that I bought Poppy War, and I read the Poppy War in 2019. So this was either in 2019 or early 2020 that I read If We Were Villains. So it's been a few years. Yeah, I really enjoyed it when I read it. And I remember it blowing my mind. So I'm looking forward to doing that again because I don't remember anything that happened in it. So yeah, I'd like to reread it. And plus, my friend bought it when we went to the bookstore together a few months ago, so maybe we'll read it together. But anyways, yeah, I'd like to read it again, just so when she does eventually read it, like, we can talk about it, because I'll remember what happened, because right now I don't. Alright, next book. Beautiful Ones by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. I loved this. Yeah, I just want to relive it because I really loved it. I cried a lot. This was the second Sylvia Moreno Garcia book I read, and I was just so connected to the characters and just fell instantly in love with them. And it was just such a nice reading experience, especially since like the first book I read by her was Mexican Gothic, and so to read this one after it was like a total shift. But it was really fun, and it just, you know, showed me how like versatile she can be as an author. And so yeah, I need to reread it because I loved it. That's the reason for all these books, actually. I need to reread it because I loved it. I need to reread it because I loved it. Piranesi, whatever, however you say it, by Susanna Clark. I read this when it came out, and I freaking loved it. I don't think I read it in a day, even though it's really short. I mean, I probably could have, but I feel like I wanted to make it last. But yeah, I loved it, so I need to reread it. Next book. This Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by B.E. Schwab. I loved it, so I need to reread it. Yeah, it's been a while since I read this. I read this, I don't think it was right after it came out. When did this come out? 2020. It might have been a few months after it came out. But yeah, I would like to reread it because it was really beautiful and touching, and yeah, I don't know. I'd like to cry again. And that's that for that stack. So we're gonna move on to books I read a really long time ago, or just old books, aka the classics. Let's go. Alrighty, so classics that I need to reread because I loved them. This one actually inspired this whole video because, oh gosh, it's dusty. I'll dust it later. Anyway, I was looking at my bookshelves and I saw it on my shelf and I was like, I haven't read that in so long. I kind of want to reread that. And then I was looking at all my other books on my shelves and I was like, I want to reread that one. Oh, I should reread that one. Oh, I need to reread that one. But anyway, The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. Yeah. When did I read this? I want to say it was like 2012. That's when I first read it. When did the first movie come out? Whatever year that was, is when I read it because I wanted to read it before the movies. And then the movies were. But anyway, yeah. I love The Hobbit. I have not been able to finish the Lord of the Rings, trilogy because oh god, it's so boring. But The Hobbit on its own is just so fun. Such a joy. I really loved it. And yeah, I loved it. I need to reread it. And plus it's been, 10 plus years probably since I read it. So it's going in the stack of books I need to reread. Like I said, it's the one that inspired this whole video. And plus I have this really cute copy that I got at a book sale. It looks like the first edition, but it's not a first edition. This was printed, I believe, in the 90s. Or like early 2000s. It might have been like 1997 is the newest date on the page, so late 90s probably. But yeah, I loved it, so I need to reread it. the theme of the video. Alright, moving on to another classic that I need to reread. I've only read it once. I do consider it a favorite, but I read it when I was young and impressionable, so I'm curious to know if I still would consider it a favorite, even though I do love the movie, one of the movie adaptations. I've only watched one because the others I haven't been able to get through. Anyway, I'm talking about Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. Yeah, I loved this when I read it. Yeah, I really love the movie with Michael Fassbender and Mia something. I don't remember her name, but yeah, I really love that movie adaptation of it. This is a really beautiful edition. I don't think I'll read this edition because, I don't know, it's really heavy and the words are really tiny, but I do have another edition on my shelf. But anyway, yeah. I'm curious to know how I'd feel about this now that I'm a little older and a little smarter. Just a tiny bit. But yeah, anyway, Jane Eyre. And we're gonna move on to another Jane, some Jane Austen. Alright, so I guess we'll start with the first Jane Austen I ever read, Emma. And I call it my favorite, but I don't know if it's just because it's the first one I ever read. But yeah, I need to reread it because I loved it. My books are falling. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, self-explanatory. Emma, Jane Austen. I really love the newest movie that came out. The newest movie adaptation of this that came out. It was so fun. It was just a good time. But yeah, I need to reread this. Next, of course, you know, Pride and Prejudice. You know, you can't have a list of Jane Austen books I want to reread without including Pride and Prejudice. It's not my favorite because I feel like Emma is, but maybe once I reread all these, maybe I'll read them all together and we'll see. But yeah. We know Emma is not my favorite. I'll tell you my favorite in a second. I can't believe I forgot about it. Anyway, yeah, Pride and Prejudice. Self-explanatory. My favorite Jane Austen, I don't know why I forgot, even though it was in my hand, is Persuasion. That Netflix movie that came out last year, the year before, whenever that was, is absolute garbage, and it was probably the worst movie I've ever seen. But anyway, Persuasion, it's just such a simple story, and it's just so good and lovely, and yeah, I really loved it. I kind of don't like this cover, but like, look how cute. It's cute underneath, but I don't like this dish jacket. Anyway, yeah, Persuasion, cute. It's little, I feel like it's really underappreciated. Like, not many people talk about Persuasion over like Pride and Prejudice and Emma and Sense and Sensibility, you know, all the ones that get all the attention. Strange Rain. But yeah, that's the list. That's the stack of classics. I don't know why I put quotations around classics. All the books I mentioned are considered classics. I don't know why I put quotes around it. Anyway, we're gonna talk about a whole series that I need to revisit. The Mailman. It's the downside to opening all my curtains while I'm filming is that people can see me. But anyway, we're gonna move on. Like I said, series that I want to revisit, want to reread. We're going to talk about the first two together because they have a similar theme, same author. Shiver, because it's been a while. I mean, I don't remember last time I reread the series. I feel like I only reread the first book last time. Man, this came out in 2009. Oh my gosh. And that's when I read it the first time, 2009. I was still in high school. Oh my gosh. But anyway, yeah. Shiver. I mean, I think there was something about it possibly being a TV series or something, a movie or something that was announced recently. maybe I'm delusional. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. Shiver by Maggie Stiefvater. Reread the whole series, except for maybe not the last one because I don't own it anymore. But anyway, the original trilogy I will reread. And yeah, Raven Cycle by Maggie Stiefvater. Need to reread simply because, I don't know, I finished the Dreamer trilogy earlier this year, or late last year, I guess. Yeah, I think I finished it before the end of the year last year. Anyway, I don't remember. And it just made me really want to go back and relive the beginning. And yeah, I loved them, so I want to reread them. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next series, and we're getting into the series that I read fairly recently. And so, first one, well, the next one I'm going to talk about, Greenbone Saga by Fonda Lee. I loved it. I want to reread it. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm kicking myself that it took me so long to pick up these books, but also I'm glad that I waited until they were all out and all in paperback, because I could binge them. And oh boy, did I want to binge them. I didn't. I ended up taking breaks in between them because they stressed me out so much. But this series was so good. It's so good. I'm angry it took me so long to read them, but it's okay because now I've read them and I love them. And yeah, I loved it, so I want to reread it. Alright, and the final books. The final series on the list. The final books. Of course, A River Enchanted and A Fire Endless, the two books in the Elements of Candace duology by Rebecca Ross. I want to reread these both and properly annotate them, because I started doing it halfway through Fire Endless, and I didn't do any of it in A River Enchanted, and I decided that I want to, and I'm going to go back and reread them and mark them up and doodle in them and do whatever the heck I want, because I love them so freaking much. And yeah, I loved them so much. Perfect duology in my opinion. Top tier, my favorite. I love them, so I want to reread them. And that's that. So yeah, those are all the books that I want to reread or pick up for the first time. I forgot I mentioned books that I have not read yet. So it's because I spent so much time talking about books that I want to reread. But yeah, these are the books that I'm most desperate to get my hands on, either for the first time or the second time or the third time, or in some cases the fourth time. There's a lot of books I need to reread. But yeah, anyway, that was that. That's the end of the video. Thank you for watching. If you made it this far, thank you very much. Leave a like. I got a haircut. Leave a like for the haircut. Maybe. A pity like, because I'm kind of sad about my haircut. Subscribe if you want to. Leave a comment if you want to. What books are you looking forward to rereading? Do you like to reread books? I used to hate rereading books, and now I'm like, oh, I can't wait to reread that. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna stop talking now. That's the end of the video. Leave a like if you want to, subscribe if you want to, leave a comment if you have something you want to say. But yeah, other than that, thank you very, very much for watching.